Pokemon Go has released the details for the January Community Day, which is going to be Rowlet Community Day. So as you can expect, during standard Community Day hours on January 6th, if you evolve your Rowlet all the way into Decidueye, you can get the special Community Day attack, Frenzy Plant. Not only that, but Decidueye is also getting a new special attack added to its move pool, the Spirit Shackle, which is a 50 base power attack and has the chance to lower the opponent's defense stat by one stage. Could this be enough to make Decidueye more competitive in PvP? Couldn't it surpass the Trevenant? Trevenant got nerfed not too long ago, but Trevenant is starting to peek its head back into the meta. What could Spirit Shackle and Frenzy Plant Decidueye bring? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about just that. And let's not forget about the raid side of things here for Decidueye. Can Frenzy Plant make it one of the top grass type raid attackers? Well, sorting this list here on Game Press by DPS, you can see it's not making page 1, but we got Mega Pokemon, we got Shadow Pokemon, we got freaking Kartana up here. Like, who's going to compete with this? Going over to page 2 though, Decidueye, it's worse than Roserade. Now, it's not super bad compared to Roserade, it's just notably worse than the Roserade, but it's a different option. If you want to see a new face on your grass type team instead of just 6 level 30 Kartanas, Decidueye ain't bad. Is it good? Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. Is it terrible? Absolutely not, but definitely not making waves in the grass type scene, especially when you consider like Kartana at level 30, right? This is level 40. Just a fraction of its power beats out most grass type Pokemon. Going over to the PvP side of things, checking out Great League PvP, the Spirit Shackle. PvPoke has Spirit Shackle as a 50 base power attack, which is announced. Right now we don't have a precise data mine on the energy cost though, so PvPoke is simming it as a 40 energy cost charge move. I think that's pretty tame. If it was 45, it'd be pretty terrible, and if it was 35, well, it'd be a slightly worse breaking swipe, but 35 would be pretty gnarly, right? So I think 40 energy cost is a pretty sober take for Decidueye here. It could be a bit better, and if it is, well, heck yeah. If it's worse though, well, then it might be a bit worse than what I'm going to present in this video. Now, compared to the Trevenant, which is its main competition as a grass and ghost type Pokemon, Decidueye being grass ghost, Trevenant being ghost grass, I guess there's a little bit of difference there. Yeah, their stat products are basically the same. Decidueye is a bit more defense weighted, Trevenant is a bit more HP weighted, but they are pretty equivalent Pokemon type and stat wise. So the main difference is going to come down to their move pools. When it comes to Trevenant, we got Shadow Claw and we got Shadow Ball, which is like the bread and butter of goodness in PvP. But Decidueye's got some interesting tricks with the Spirit Shackle. Spirit Bomb, Seed Bomb, got nerfed to 45 energy cost a few seasons ago. Spirit Shackle could be 40 energy cost. Between that, Leafage and Astonish, they're not great attacks, but they're not terrible attacks, and overall it makes Decidueye's speed to that bait move about the same as the Trevenant. And when it comes to the nuke attack, I mean, Shadow Ball is freaking Shadow Ball, there is no doubting that. But Decidueye's got Frenzy Plant, which is big and comes a bit sooner. And then we also got Brave Bird, which is huge and a unique form of type coverage. So I feel like overall Decidueye on paper should be pretty competitive to the Trevenant. And if that doesn't sell you enough already, if you check out the Astonish moveset here in the 1-1 shield scenario, looks like we're beating the Trevenant. Now it is only 10 HP. Trevenant is getting the attack breakpoint on us, so bad news for us, but we are beating the Trevenant. Comparing all of Decidueye's possible movesets and Trevenant in a matrix simulation on pvpoke.com, the differences can become a little bit more clear between these Pokemon, and you can see right off the bat, Trevenant is getting more wins. Now, this is the rank 1 versus the rank 1, so, breakpoints and other considerations aren't brought into the picture, and the Spirit Shackle is a 33% chance debuffing attack. And the way PvPoke has that coded is that the third Spirit Shackle will debuff the opponent, which, means that the Spirit Shackle could debuff earlier, it could not debuff at all. And for the purposes of a lot of these simulations, it's not debuffing at all. We're only getting, 1 or 2 Spirit Shackles in. So this performance doesn't precisely reflect reality. And there are other things to consider too. For example, the Venusaur situation here, the Shadow Venusaur, this is the rank 1 Shadow Venusaur. We are 2 damage away from KOing it, I think reasonably people aren't walking around with the rank 1 Shadow Venusaur, right? If it's slightly deficient from that, we're probably getting those 2 points of damage. We're also taking on the Trevenant here. And if you go through some other matchups, G-Fisk being in Trevenant's favor, that's pretty big. When it comes to the Registeel matchup, if you check out the Spirit Shackle simulations, you can see that Registeel is getting that early Zap Cannon debuff. If you were to take that away, it's only beating us with 1 HP hanging on. And mind you, this is the rank 1 Registeel, which somebody out there probably has it, but, you know, are you going to run into this level of quality of Registeel in the field? I'm not so sure. And on top of that, this is with the late debuff. If we were to take the debuff away, you could see that it's hanging on with 4 HP. But once again, is this going to be the Registeel that you fight? Not only will the HP depreciate with a lower quality IV spread, but, you know, the propensity to deal extra damage off those Spirit Shackles also increases. So overall, I'd say Trevenant has a much more consistent Registeel matchup, but Decidueye can take on the Registeel. And Decidueye is also taking on the Shadow Dragonair, which is pretty delicious for a grass-type Pokemon especially. And then when it comes to the Azumarill matchup, this is also, once again, IV dependent. This rank 1 Azumarill is just hanging on by just 1 HP. And oh shoot, what's this? The Altaria 1-1? Only hanging on with 4 HP. So once again, against the right Altaria, with a Brave Bird breakpoint, let's say, you could possibly 1-1 an Altaria. A lot of Altaria will hang out at 139 HP when people are like crafting their Altaria as per the Altaria PvP IV deep dive. Link above and description if you want to check that out. Yeah, Altaria cares about having 139 HP. After that, you know, you're thinking about that attack stat and that defense stat. So yeah, it could be 2 less on that. It could be a bit attack weighted to get attack breakpoints, which means that its defense is now opened up to get a Brave Bird breakpoint. So I think realistically we could possibly 1-1 the Altaria. Now, this potential breakpoint shenanigans, does this mean that Decidueye is for sure on Trevenant's level? No. I'm just saying that it is fairly Trevenant equivalent. It is the spicy version of the Trevenant, but it's got other advantages too. If you look at the 1-2 shield disadvantage scenario, so you're only using 1 shield, your opponent's using 2 shields, you can see that Decidueye is pulling ahead. Now with the leafage, you know, obviously you got the Mud Boys, so it is a little bit unfair, like, you know, Wishcash, Shadow Wishcash, you know, Shadow Swampert. Is that exactly fair for the Trevenant in this situation? But then we also see all the different Poliwraths that we're picking up, and Poliwrath is a pretty solid save swap. So if you're able to counter swap on the Poliwrath, something that Trevenant apparently can't do very well, then that's pretty good. And when it comes to the 0-1 shield scenario, I know that Medicham has seen better days in its life, but we do have the chance to do that with the Astonish Medicham. So you spend 0 shields, they spend 1 shield. It's something that Trevenant can't really do anymore because of the nerfed Seed Bomb, but it is something that Decidueye with the Astonish could possibly pick up. So when it comes to the question of who is the best Grass Ghost, Ghost Grass Pokemon in the Great League PvP, I feel like Trevenant is most often coming out ahead. It's got Shadow Claw, it's got Shadow Ball. What do you want from me? But Decidueye has enough tricks going on where it is a very powerful side grade to the Trevenant. Definitely a Pokemon that you don't want to miss the Community Day for. And I think it's interesting enough where I am going to be working on a PvP IV deep dive for, I don't know, at least 3 of these fast moves. Gosh. That's about all I got to say right now for the Rowlet Community Day and Decidueye in the PvP meta. If you got questions on this content, of course, comment below, let me know what's up, and I'll be happy to help you out. And if you enjoyed this kind of content, you want to see more like it, maybe you're interested in that Decidueye PvP IV deep dive, well, make sure to subscribe to SwagTips. SwagTips. I'd also like to give a shout out to these patron supporters. If you want to support Swagman on Patreon, link in the description. Oh man, and it's a 3x Stardust Community Day. This just gets even better.